Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the latest knee-jerk stream, this time for Game Week 36. Game Week 35 is not quite over yet. We still have Spurs versus Chelsea to go. Or should that be? Yeah, Spurs versus Chelsea. No, it's Chelsea versus Spurs. Chelsea are at home. I forgot about that. On Thursday. But otherwise, all the other games have gone. I'm on a massive, massive green arrow. So I went down about 37,000 places last week, and I'm currently on a 664 place green arrow. So only another 36,000 places to go, and the damage from free hit 34 will be done, and I'll be back where I was before, which is definitely not going to happen. Yeah, an okay week, but nothing special. Onana smashing whoever it was for Burnley to give away the penalty last minute. Not great. Porro not getting an assist for I think it was offside. Not great. Foden missing out. Not great, even though Haaland came in. Ederson, wildcarding in, is now injured. His arm was in a sling after the game. He's probably not going to play again this season, I would imagine. Pep Guardiola said it looks quite bad. And I think any kind of shoulder injury for a goalkeeper, you just don't usually recover from quickly. But we'll see what happens. I didn't have Everton defenders who just cannot stop getting clean sheets, which is absolutely ridiculous. Saka, who I've had for most of this season, just wild-carded out, goal and assist. It's been an okay week, but nothing to shout about. Swapped Vardy to Walker last minute before the deadline. Ouch. The Saka one is just like a continuation from Game Week 34. Because obviously I didn't have a free hit. I went in with Saka as my only Arsenal attacker. And Odegaard and Havertz smash him in Game Week 34. I wildcard him out and he goes and gets a goal and assist. It happens. It happens. There's not much you can do about it. But it's a bit... it's not even like annoying. It's just more... It's just dull. It's just dull that my first transfer after wildcard is probably going to be a goalkeeper. And I suspect I will make that move this week. Ederson to Ortega. If Ederson is out for the rest of the season, I don't think it makes much sense waiting until Game Week 37. Because either way, I'm going to have to get a goalkeeper in for the bench boost. And Ortega is also only 3.7 million. So he just enables a lot of money for the final game week. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Saka was not that good for the previous 2 to 3 game weeks, and now he smashed it when I sold him. Yeah, it happens. I almost tweeted actually before today's game, but I didn't, so I guess it doesn't really matter. To say that the last time people started doubting Saka, he went on this mad run. Like, I think the narrative has switched that Havertz is a better option than Saka. I don't think that's the case. I still think Saka's number 1 for Arsenal. Havertz probably number 2. But who knows? It could be different next week. Either way, Arsenal are going to keep on winning. It's going to be a very close title race in which City just end up winning it still. But Arsenal are going to push them. Varnell got 15 points, I think, this week. Why not play Petrovic? Yeah, I could definitely play Petrovic in Game Week 36. And if this was, you know, like Game Week 5 or Game Week 17 or something like that, that's exactly what I would do. But I'm going to have to make a goalkeeper swap in Game Week 37 anyway. And I think Ortega is better than Petrovic this week. So it just makes sense to do the transfer a week early and just roll in Game Week 37 instead. Or maybe use a transfer. I'll have to wait and see. Like, the only thing I'm basically risking is that Ortega gets an injury in Game Week 36. And, you know, hopefully that won't happen, but it could. As I'm not on Bench Boost 37, we discussed it in the member stream that keeping Saka made sense. Yeah, very nice. Took a punt on Højlund versus Burnley. Ouch. Now I have to get Haaland. Yeah, Haaland is back. Came off the bench. 5 points. Got a goal. No bonus. It was a bit annoying that Foden missed out completely. He was ill, apparently. So that was a bit frustrating, but at least Haaland got some points. Jackson goal ruled. Yeah, I mean, you know what, Nicholas Jackson, right? I even saw someone, I think they replied to my tweet, one of my tweets saying, were Jackson owners actually expecting points? You know that Gordon Ramsay meme, the one where he's like, there, darling, and the other one's like, you effing donkey or something like that. That's exactly what Nicholas Jackson and Ollie Watkins are. I know Watkins has been brilliant this season, I get it. But Watkins is the there, darling, when he blanks. And for Jackson, it's like, you absolute donkey. But Jackson was, I don't know, probably had just as good, if not slightly better chances than Watkins. Watkins did have a very nice opportunity to score in the second half, I think it was, where he blazed it over. You know, Jackson, centimetres from a great goal. Really good finish. Although you could say, if he was onside, maybe he would never have got to that position. Because, you know, it is fine margins in football. And obviously the header onto the post. I mean, you could also say that if that was anyone but Nicholas Jackson, it would have gone in. I get it. But I think he was fine. I thought Chelsea played all right. I think they were the better team overall in that game. And I'm quite happy to have Jackson against Spurs. I mean, he's matched Ollie Watkins and now he's got an extra game. So I'm kind of happy with that. And obviously Bruno Fernandes hit the post as well. Anyone that watched the Man United game, Bruno Fernandes was a bit unlucky to walk away with 0 returns. The fact that he got 2 bonus points with no returns kind of shows you how good he was. I'm not saying he deserved like 2, 3, 4 returns or anything like that, but 1 return would have been more than fair, I would say. So I'm quite happy with most of the picks. I'm also very happy at this point that I didn't go for James Madison. I've definitely got that one wrong so far, at least. Things could change. Yeah, Nicholas Jackson just needs to turn up and he outscores quite a few other players. Watkins is there, darling, because he's a good scorer is always around the corner. Yeah, I mean, he is better than Jackson. I'm not trying to say he's not, but still, Jackson was a fine pick. I think the doubts around him were a little bit harsh, I would say. Now, the guy he's got something like 15 returns in 26 starts. It's not terrible. Before yesterday's game, I think Jackson was scoring a goal. I think he had 0.4 goals per 90 minutes. And Watkins last year was 0.43. Now, Watkins is much better this year. It's not that bad. Who will I be benching in Game Week 36? Probably Gordon, yeah. So that's who I've got on the bench at the moment. So I'm playing Palmer, Son against Liverpool away, Fernandes against Crystal Palace away, and Foden against Wolves at home. That's my 4 midfielders. And then up front, Haaland captain, Isak against Burnley, and Nicholas Jackson against West Ham. And I'm going to bench Gordon. I could bench Fernandes instead, but I don't see me benching a penalty taker, basically. Could I bench Nicholas Jackson instead of Gordon? I guess it's a shout. But to be honest with you, look, you could make an argument that Gordon is better this week than Jackson. Right? I think that's absolutely fair. I probably wouldn't spend too much of my time arguing with you. But there's also an ownership play as well. Gordon is higher owned than Jackson. And if there's not much in it, I'm just going to go for the lower owned player, I think. Yeah, a lot of people will probably bench Son. I just think he might do all right against Liverpool. That Romero goal today, what was he doing there? Yeah, so I'll be honest, I was out for the Spurs-Arsenal game, so I only saw like the last 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes. I saw the replay of the Romero guy. I asked the same question. What's he doing in that number 9 position? Nice finish, though, after the mistake. A green arrow to 23k despite a -12. Happy days. Saka and Vardy, very nice. Would I captain Saka or Haaland? I think Haaland's the best option, but honestly, Saka's great next week against Bournemouth at home. If you want to go a bit different, kind of like it. I don't think everything's okay with Ederson. So he got clattered by, I think it might have been Willy Bolly, but I can't remember for sure. And he had a bit of a shoulder injury, and he was kind of, they were trying to go, the physios were trying to go through, I guess, range of motion, right? And he carried on playing until half time, but then he got subbed at half time. Now, part of me thinks the fact that he played on means it probably isn't that bad, but also a shoulder injury for a goalkeeper is not good, right? And he left the stadium in a sling. There's a video going around. I retweeted it on my Twitter account. So, I don't know. I don't see him playing next week, that's for sure. Obviously, I'm not a medic, as you might have guessed by now, but I would not be surprised if Ederson's out for the season. Like, shoulder injury for a goalkeeper, you got to be super careful. So I think he's going to be out, unfortunately. And yes, Pep said it didn't look good. The obvious, if he's ruled out for the season, I think Ortega is the one. If it's one of those where they're not quite sure, he might be back, he might not, I'll probably sell him to Vicario instead. No, I get it, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The fact that he played on, maybe it's okay, but still, shoulder injury, you don't want to make that worse, right? For a goalkeeper. So let's see. Ultimately, none of us know what the problem is. We just know he's got a shoulder issue and he could be a problem. Why did the majority of FPL content creators say Bruno for De Bruyne? I don't know. You'd have to ask him. I should have gone De Bruyne on my own fault, but curious on the reasons. Minutes and penalties, mostly. That's why I went. And also money, by the way. It's not like De Bruyne is cheap. Like I said earlier, Bruno could have easily walked away with returns. I know he didn't, right? And so it doesn't really matter, but I think he was a fine pick. Just go Pickford for game week 37 bench week, so he'll probably outscore him. You're probably right. Are you considering adding an Arsenal midfielder to your team? Yes, but not this week. Or next week, probably. I mean, it depends, right? If someone was to get, let's say Foden was out for the season, I'd probably just go straight to Saka, I think. I don't know if there's any other, maybe I'd go Madison or someone like that for the double, or Richarlison maybe. I wouldn't want to buy him against Liverpool. So there is a chance I would just go straight to Saka. But I've got no plans to do that until 38. Any updates on Cher and Foden? Nothing on Cher that I've seen. He, similarly to Ederson, wasn't a shoulder injury, but he got an injury, played on for a bit, and then came off at half time. So hopefully he'll be okay, but we don't know. Foden was just ill, so presumably he'll be back next week. Is top 100k the new top 10k? I don't know if we're quite at that stage yet. Bench Vardy and started Cher. Ouch. I mean, I think most of us expected Newcastle to get a clean sheet against Sheffield United. Didn't happen, unfortunate. And we were 5 minutes away from getting a Dalot clean sheet as well. That was an absolute killer. Would you say Cher or Jackson are a priority transfer out? Why would Jackson be a priority transfer out? Here's a book recommendation which might improve people's knee-jerk decision-making by Miles. Thinking in bets. It makes a good point that bad outcomes doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad decision. Yeah, 100%. Happens all the time. That's what I was trying to... It's like free hit. Why am I bringing this up? I can only bring myself pain by bringing this up. But it's like I was trying to say on the team selection video about free hit 34 that it was a great decision by people that did it. There were also a lot of things that went right all in 1 week, and so if you didn't free hit 34, you can't then completely play on tilt and just start making decisions you wouldn't normally do. You just got to accept that stupid things happen in football and FPL. And you can make a good decision, it just doesn't go right. And that can happen. So I agree, yeah. You can make a good decision and not get a good outcome. And obviously the opposite can happen, right? You can make a bad decision and get a good outcome. But ultimately, you're just trying to make good decisions and hope they pay off. Look at Jordan Pickford, for example, right? Start of the season, lots of people picked him. There was lots of ridicule about how bad of a pick he was. And now he's, what, the top scoring goalkeeper? Now, you could say that maybe we picked him and Everton weren't good. Now they've become brilliant. Or maybe we just got unlucky when we bought him and these things happen. Look at Vardy. I tweeted this earlier today. He scored 3 goals in his last 5 games for Man City. He had 0 in the previous 32. So someone that's held Vardy earlier on in the season when they weren't getting clean sheets and he didn't score any goals, you know, that looks like a bad pick. All of a sudden, you get 2 goals in the Premier League in recent times. Suddenly, it looks like a great pick. And there'll be some people out there that had him when he didn't score any goals and have now, and don't have him now, and vice versa. And these things just happens, really. Yeah, look, I'm not trying to say that things don't change, that players can't be more attacking or defenses can't improve and stuff like that. But ultimately, you're just trying to pick good players with good fixtures and hoping it goes right. De Bruyne or Foden, who would I buy first? I mean, if the money doesn't affect any other decisions, I guess you're going De Bruyne at this point, especially with the ownership. I still have a feeling that Foden could be just as good, if not better. Content creators overlook De Bruyne playing for City, even with minutes managed, versus Bruno, who plays for United. Yeah, but yeah, fair enough. I mean, let me look at the numbers here. It'd be very interesting to see. Man City, Kevin De Bruyne today, what did he put up? He put up 0.46 expected goal involvement, pretty decent. Bruno Fernandes, 1.12. You know, you can say, well, Bruno plays for Man United, therefore he's terrible, but that's also a guy with 6 goals in 6 matches. 6 goals in 4 matches, I think. Wait, is it 6 in 6 or 6 in 4? Yeah, sorry, 6 goals, 1 assist in his previous 4 matches. So obviously right now, yes, it looks super obvious. You should have just gone for De Bruyne, but Fernandes wasn't a bad pick. What defender should we be aiming to bring in this week? Arsenal ones, probably. Who else? Who else is there, really? Thoughts on the Salah and Klopp argument? I mean, it's obviously difficult to know what's gone on behind the scenes, what's been said and stuff like that. But I'd say Salah didn't really come across that well, to be honest. I get that he's frustrated. But ultimately, Klopp is the boss, right? And Salah's not been playing that well, as plenty of people have pointed out. So it doesn't come across well. But ultimately, they're professional football people. They want to win. I'm sure they'll clear it up this week. I'm sure Salah will be back in the team in game week 36. I think it would just be a really bad look all round if Klopp kind of punishes him. Because they could both be out of Liverpool. Well, Klopp we know will be out of Liverpool this year, but Salah could be as well, and I just don't think that's the way either of them probably want to go out. So I think they'll clear it up. But it wasn't a good look, I don't think, for Salah in particular. Fazy, if you're on Wildcard now, this game week 36, what would you change in your current Wildcard? Does De Bruyne appeal more than Foden, assuming Jackson will be your permanent sub? Is there a cheaper bench boost alternative? João Pedro, if you want to go a bit cheaper, I would say. Like I probably wouldn't have Petrovic if I was... Well, to be honest, I haven't thought about a wildcard 36 that much. But obviously, Chelsea and Spurs are a little bit less needed. I mean, Spurs do have Sheffield United last day of the season, worth remembering that. So I'd probably drop Petrovic, I guess, for a different goalkeeper. Ortega and Onana, maybe, something like that. Jackson could go to João Pedro. I still like Jackson, though, to be honest with you. But João Pedro on penalties, minutes probably just as good. Does De Bruyne appeal more than Foden? I don't know if a lot has changed apart from Foden got ill, to be honest with you. I mean, we got to be careful with these things because the match before when Foden's scoring 2 goals, right, he's the one that everyone wants. Now he's got ill, everyone wants De Bruyne. I mean, like I said earlier, if money's no object, De Bruyne is a nice differential. But Foden's still very, very good value, I would say. Van Heck has got a muscle injury or something. Don't know how long he's out for. Honestly, some people got really unlucky on this wildcard. Ederson, Cher, Van Heck, all potentially injured. Foden also ill as well. Not great. And we're not tempted just to play Petrovic this week and roll. Yeah, but again, it's like I said earlier, right? I will need a goalkeeper for 37, so it doesn't really matter whether I do it this week or next. Richarlison would be locked on wildcard 36. He's going to play every game now. Is he, though? Is he definitely? Maybe. I mean, if he starts against Chelsea, you probably put Richarlison in, yeah. Because you're basically getting Well, you can bench him against Liverpool if you wanted to. Then you got Burnley, City at home, then Sheffield United away. Rate it in this week and just ignore the double. I mean, if I did that, I'd have triple Arsenal defence. I don't know if I want to do that. You could do that, if you wanted a single game week player. Have I ever seen the whole line of defence injured? I don't really remember, to be honest. Maybe seen 3 or 4, possibly. I'm old now. My memory's terrible, so I don't know. Is Havertz a must-have? No. What are your thoughts on selling Gabriel to Livramento? I don't get it. Well, I guess Livramento's got an extra fixture, but will he definitely play all 4? Don't know about that. Who would you like to be next Man United manager? Honestly, I wouldn't pretend that I've got enough knowledge about all the managers around the world, but I mean, if someone said Tuchel was coming to Man United, I think that would be quite good. Already frustrated with Jackson, but had Romero, which was absolutely great. Yeah, nice on Romero. There was a brief point on the deadline stream I was considering Dalot to Romero, but I will say I was considering about 5 different things. So it wasn't like he was almost certain to come in. But yeah, nice goal. And now you've got Chelsea. Bench him next week. Nice-ish double. And a nice game last day. Foden wasn't tactical, he was just ill. Am I the only one that's like not that frustrated with Jackson? Like, players blank, you know? He had a couple of good chances. He'll get more chances against Spurs, I'm sure. They won't defend like Villa did. I'm not really that frustrated. I think it helps that players like Solanke and Watkins blanked. Like, whatever. He's got the same score as them. He's got another game. Just, like... I don't know. Like, people kept asking me last week, what about Watkins? What? Like, at no point did I consider going without Jackson. And would I have loved him to score? Yes, but I really just don't care about it. It's like, it's just not a big deal. Jackson's just one of those players that people get... I know he hasn't always returned when people have brought him in, right? But he's one of those players that people get way more frustrated about when he blanks compared to most other players. It's a little bit like Darwin Nunez as well. Like, if Darwin blanks, it's so much worse than if someone else blanks. Am I concerned about Nkunku taking Jackson's spot? Like I keep saying, Nkunku has been coming back for about 365 days nearly. I'm not worried about him, no. Start Branthwaite or Dalot, game week 36. So Dalot is away to Palace. And Branthwaite is away to... I'd probably start Branthwaite, to be honest. Everton are a better defence. And if Eze's back, Eze, Elise, Mateta, they will score against Man United. On Jackson, you must have suffered a lot with Darwin to feel that way. No, it's nothing to do with Darwin. It's just that people like just over exaggerate these things so much. It's been one game, he blanked. We've still got 5 left. If he blanks 5 times, fair enough. That'll be a bit annoying, but we'll see. Am I not worried that Drogba comes out of retirement and takes Jackson's spot? Maybe. Jackson is not Haaland. That's a great observation. Yeah, I hadn't considered that. How did I resist the Reece James temptation? Pretty easily. He wasn't even in the squad anyway. Would you sell Salah for De Bruyne or Gordon? If I was buying this week, I would definitely go De Bruyne. Again, you've got to consider the money lost and stuff like that, but De Bruyne's got Wolves at home, right? Gordon, I mean, Burnley away is nice, but definitely go De Bruyne. I'm triggered tonight, am I? Okay. Interesting. Why did so many go Tottenham and Chelsea defence? Double game weeks? No, I got no interest in Reece James whatsoever. The only way I would buy Reece James this season is if we know he's starting game week 38 and it's Bournemouth at home. Then I would maybe go for it. Should you keep Solanke? You could do, yeah. But it's Arsenal away this week. And then 37, it's Brentford at home. There's Chelsea away last day. He's okay, but I'd probably sell him if you got a spare transfer. I didn't see any Gusto updates, no. I love your Saka. It's just funny when people say I'm so triggered. I just what do they think being triggered means? I don't know. Porro was so close to 2 assists, he will get a Hall 1 game before the end of the season. I feel like I've been waiting for the Pedro Porro Hall my whole life at this point. Solanke easy sell to Jackson says FPL audit Romano. There you go. Boom. Muniz in for Solanke. I don't know why you wouldn't buy a double game week forward, to be honest with you. I wouldn't go Muniz. Also, Muniz feels a little bit reactionary because everyone kind of forgotten about him. Now he's scored. His name's getting mentioned again. Oh, that was funny, yeah. I think buying money from Aston... Did anyone see that? The official FPL Twitter account, when Cash scored... Cash assisted one of the Villa goals. And they tweeted the assist was money, capital letters money instead of cash. How does that happen? It must be like... Either someone was just taking the mick, or it's kind of semi-automated and it's gone through I don't know, like a chat GPT or something. And they've put money instead of cash. Why would it auto-correct that though? Cash to money? That seems a bit of a weird one. Maybe, I guess. All going well, you were transferring out one Arsenal defender to a double game week in 37, or you going as is. A lot of it will depend on the league situation. No, I don't think it wasn't a joke. They wouldn't. If it was a joke, they wouldn't have put out the real one. Surely, maybe it was. Yeah, okay, maybe it was just autocorrect. Discriminatory against card payments, like it. Yeah, sorry. I'll be keeping Arsenal defenders if it looks like the title's going down to game week 38, because I think Arsenal defenders in 38 against Everton at home are pretty good. Everton could be absolutely safe as well. A quick one. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Teddy Sheringham? Oof, I'll go Ollie. Jackson logic. A player that blanks twice in one game week is better than a player who blanks once. I mean, you're probably joking there, but that is true. Absolutely true. I feel so stupid getting Højlund as a punt. He will never score. I mean, Jackson didn't score either, right? Oh, Everton already safe. Okay, my bad. I haven't worked out the maths yet. Can you rate the best Newcastle defenders for chasing upside but also secure of minutes? Yeah, Dan Burn. that is it, I think. Honestly, security of minutes, that's probably it. I mean, Lewis Hall started this weekend, so he's probably okay. But is it a guarantee he'll start every game? I guess not. Similarly with Livramento. I mean, potentially Livramento, you could say, is almost nailed because he'll play right back. And if Trippier comes back, he can move to the left. But I honestly, it's Dan Burn right now. I think that's the only one. Especially with Cher being injured. Is Jackson still a good pick for game week 36 for those who prioritised Isak for 35? By the way, if you did that, fair play. I said Jackson, so I got that wrong. Or do you prefer Højlund? No, I prefer Jackson. Like, Jackson doesn't have to play Arsenal before the end of the season, which is a big help. His underlying stats are better than Højlund. I don't think there's any... Like, if you want to go Højlund, there's no issue with that whatsoever. I'd probably go Jackson. Who am I benching in 36 out of my attackers? Again, it's probably going to be Gordon. We'll see. I could change my mind. I'm not fully set on that, but that's how I've set the team up as it stands. I've got Gordon first bench, Dalot second, and then Pedro Porro last against Liverpool. Vardio has to be one of my best moves in recent times. Yeah, he's smashed it. Although, I will say, Man City should have conceded it today. I don't know how Chris Wood has come away with 0 returns. He had an absolute sitter in the first half, an open goal, basically. Ederson was never getting there. And the second half, I can't quite remember the chance now, but I know that he should have probably scored. In general, Forest, I don't know how they came away with no goals today. I don't know what the I don't know what the XG was. Let me have a quick look. If I go to Vardiol. Yeah, 1.64 expected goals City conceded to Forest there, which you wouldn't usually expect to happen that often. So far, picking Gordon over Madison looks good. It absolutely does, yeah. Madison came off around the 63rd minute, and apparently he was not very good at all. So maybe I've got away with that. They said it's the most XG against Man City in the first half of the game all season. Oof. Yeah, I said that on Twitter. I kind of nicked it off my mate that Nottingham Forest might be putting out a statement to get Chris Wood looked into for match fixing. Honestly, that first chance, most of the Spurs players weren't very good. Again, I haven't seen the match in full. I've only seen a few of the highlights. I'll try and catch up with them tomorrow because I was out. Had a nice Asian tapas I had today. Very nice. If you're in Galway, go and check it out. Best 3 defenders on Wildcard. Probably Ben White, Gabriel, and Pedro Porro, maybe. Expecting Chelsea Spurs to be 4-4. There's got to be goals in that game. Surely. I'll be worried about Wilson's minutes now for the double game week. Maybe rotation with Isak. I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, look, is there a chance that Wilson starts one of the games and Isak doesn't start the other one? Yes. Yes. But when the game was basically won against Sheffield United and Wilson came on, bearing in mind that Isak had played midweek, he stayed on the pitch and he played 90 minutes. I think that's a good sign. So the only game we've really got to worry about, in my opinion, is the Man United game. And I just don't think you bench your best forward against Man United away. So I think Isak, I think if he's fit enough, he'll start every game. Or we might see, he scored 19 goals this season, by the way, in 23 starts. The guy's a joke. So I've actually got no worries, and I think we might see him start together, or at least get a good amount of minutes on the pitch together, like we saw again against Sheffield United. I thought Tapas was Spanish. Yeah, it usually is. Well, it is, but that's what they call it, right? It's in Galway. It's called Umbrella Asian Tapas, and it's just like tapas but Asian food, essentially, not Spanish. It's good. Would I bring in Wilson alongside Isak? Probably not, just because I wouldn't be completely sure about the starts. Look, maybe if against Burnley we see them start together and that's a sign of things to come, you could definitely look at it. Because I think when they're both on the pitch, Wilson's actually the better option. Because he usually plays as the number 9 and he's on penalties ahead of Isak. Although, would Wilson give up penalties for Isak when he's on 19 goals and Wilson's only on 8? My instinct is no. I think Wilson would want the goals. Do people really own Jackson? Yes, unfortunately. I wish I'd got Watkins blank instead. I give Wilson 1.5 games before getting injured again. Possibly. You could say the same about Isak, although he has played a lot of minutes now. If I go to Electric Loud in Galway this summer, can I buy you a beer? Is that the new nightclub? Because I'm way too old for that. Do I reckon Vardiol starts the next game? Probably. He's got a week's rest now. Madison demonstrating exactly why Palmer should go to the Euros instead of him, and I own Madison. I don't think the fact you own Madison and FPL has any bearing on your thoughts about the England team. But I will say, if it's only a 20, they might get the squads increased to 26. But if it ends up being 23, I actually think Palmer over Madison's not a bad shout. Because places get tight and Palmer can play in a couple of different positions. Like Madison can play wide, but he's not as good as Palmer would be on the right. You trust Isak over Wilson on pens all day. Yeah, but the problem is we don't get to choose, and Wilson's not got a bad record from what I remember. Palmer missed a couple of chances to hopefully shooting boots back on for the Spurs game. Palmer wasn't very good. Like, I know he's been brilliant this season, but he wasn't very good against Spurs. Look, maybe it's the fact that he's been ill and stuff like that and he's not been in full training. Overall, he wasn't great, but he's still got that great chance through on goal, one-on-one. And maybe another day he does put that in. But overall, not that impressed. I also wish Ireland were in the Euros, yeah. Me too. From someone living in Spain and used to live in Ireland, those are not tapas prices, but rather regular prices. Still good, though. Gallagher and Madueke were the picks, yeah. I actually said to someone that I didn't think Madueke was very good. I still don't think he was great, to be honest, but in the end, he did enough. Mudryk is terrible. Decision making is so bad. Like, Mudryk is Chelsea's Anthony. That's how bad I think he is. Spain is very cheap, especially the beer. The beer is insane in Spain. Like Ireland and England, or UK, Ireland and the UK, the alcohol prices are insane. Absolutely insane. Mudryk is worse than Anthony. Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, shout out to those people that captained Son, by the way. Nice and ballsy going against Parma. It was a good finish from Anthony, yeah. They should give you a free meal for promoting it to 400,000 people. That'd be nice, yeah. Umbrella Asian Tapas. I'm ready for another shout out for some free food. Sam, sorry. Impossible question. Most secure Man City defender to buy. Do you know what I said this week on the video? This changes every single week, right? Walker gets 2 assists. Suddenly everyone wants Walker. I thought a week or two ago, and I think I said this on the Game Week preview, that Ruben Dias and Vardiol were going to get the most minutes. Well, that was completely wrong because Ruben Dias has missed another game today. I'm not sure if he was injured. So maybe it's Vardiol. But am I just saying that because he just scored again? Maybe. But it's probably Vardiol or Walker now. Kanji keeps playing too. If I was buying now, I'd just buy Vardiol and be done with it. And then just watch Kyle Walker start every game and watch Vardiol miss one. I just... Oh, Diaz was ill too. Okay, fair enough. I hate answering the Man City question. I get it, right? You know, my job is to create content. It's a stream where we're talking and discussing. You're asking me questions. But there's never anything that comes from answering a question about Man City defenders. Because whatever I say will be wrong next week. Palmer's always ghosting whenever he becomes a popular captaincy. Well, that's not true. I don't think that's true. It's always a Kanji, yeah. I never recommend Kanji. He just always plays. Right up until he doesn't. If Ederson's out, what looks better? Getting Pickford and Vardiol or Ortega and Ben White? Ortega and Ben White for me. Although, I got to be honest, Everton do have good fixtures. They got Luton away and then... I mean, the last game of the season is tough against Arsenal. It's Luton away and then Sheffield United at home. They could easily do well. I'm glad Ben White didn't do anything today, by the way. I cannot believe I did not include him on my wildcard team. I was like, I won't say that I was 100% certain about going White, but I was like 90-95% going to do it. And the funny thing is, like, because I hid the Saliba pick, no one kind of mentioned it. I think if I had not hidden it, people would have said, are you not going Ben White? And that would have reminded me to bloody put him in the team. I've had Stones since Game Week 32 and still waiting on a start. Yeah, they're always very careful with John Stones. If there's any kind of slight issue there, they just won't play him. Is Game Week 34 your worst game week this season? Probably in context of everything else that happened, yeah. Is an Arsenal defender essential? I mean, close to, probably, yeah. They're so good. Yeah, Diaz was ill, apparently, yeah. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Saliba, but I do think Ben White is a bit more attacking. I've got to apologise to FPL, to the official FPL game makers, whoever decides the prices, because at the start of the season, I couldn't believe that Ben White was 0.5 million more than Saliba and Gabriel, and he's absolutely smashed it. I mean, it's only 21 points more than Saliba, but still, 21 points is 21 points. If Diaz would have started, who would have not? Great question. Ake, Akanji. Maybe Walker and Akanji would have played right back. Maybe Vardiol and Akanji played left back. Who knows? Probably Ake, yeah, I guess so. What do I think about Haaland versus Saka for the captain next week? Yeah, it's a tough one. I think if there's any doubts about Haaland, like Pep says something in the press conference we're not happy with, I'd probably just go Saka. But I think if they both play the same minutes, I'm backing Haaland versus Wolves, I think, at home. They're both great, though, honestly. You personally think... You think Ake and Walker are the most nailed? I don't know about Ake. I mean, he obviously can play centre-back and left-back. Vardiol mostly plays just in that kind of left-back role. I don't know. I hate it. It's just a constant discussion. And I would say very little upside, but to be fair, Walker got 2 assists recently. Vardiol's just scored again, so maybe there is some upside there. Anyway, just get Ederson. You know, he's going to play every game, right? You think Isak is power captain for 36? Not sure. You just think he's the best captain, I guess. I don't mind Isak this week. Well, I wouldn't, you know, away from home compared to Haaland and Saka both at home with good fixtures. I don't know. Maybe Saka is the better option. It's quite close though. Vardy played almost as a striker for a couple of minutes in the first half. There was a moment where a cross came in. It was open play, so it wasn't like a corner or a free kick. And Vardy was like on the penalty spot, like the only one there. I didn't get Dalot this week. Got Romero instead. Nice. Should I think about bringing United assets in ahead of 37? I'd rather have Romero than Dalot in 37, mostly because Romero gets to play Burnley. I really don't want to bench Gordon for Jackson, but I get the logic. The good thing is, it's your team, so you don't have to. Just bench Jackson instead. Here's what I'll say. For most people that are watching this, you're going to be far more annoyed if you bench Gordon and he hauls than you will be if you bench Jackson and he hauls. So I think most people watching should just bench Jackson. It's going to give you less of a headache. Arrange a meet-up in Galway City for the last day of the season. On Pukon will be a great spot. Lots of TV screens. Yeah, it's not going to happen, but nice idea. Thing is, I'm busy on the last day of the season. Deadline stream. I'd probably do a watch-along as well throughout those games. And then knee-jerk stream. Well, not knee-jerk stream in the evening. I usually try and do 2 to 3 streams on the last day of the season. So it's quite busy for me. Gordon on set pieces without true. Yeah, again, you don't have to tell me. Gordon's a good option. I just happen to have 8 good attackers, and I think I'm going to bench Anthony Gordon. Parmesan, Fernandez, Parmesan, Fernandez, Isak, Haaland have all got penalties. So then it's Foden, Jackson, and Gordon. I'm probably just going to go Jackson for the lower ownership. Why aren't you benching Jackson? Because I can take it if Gordon hauls. I'm saying that most people watching this, they're just... I know already. I know what the comments are coming. They'll be super frustrated if they bench Gordon and he hauls. More so than if they bench Jackson. Trust me, I come on every week and bad results or good results. I can take it. I'm ready. If Jota is fit for 38, he's going to be my transfer, probably for Gordon. Yeah, I don't mind that. My plan is probably to sell Gordon in 38, but we need to see. We need to wait and see. I mean, I'll probably go for an Arsenal midfielder last game of the season. Benching Gordon for Jackson doesn't make any sense to me. Again, you don't have to do it. You can just bench Jackson. If it makes no sense, don't do it. It's simple as that. Just because I'm playing Jackson doesn't mean you have to. Tottenham's fixtures are terrible. I'm going nowhere near them defence-wise. They got Burnley at home, Sheffield United away. Both pretty good, I would say. I mean, the Spurs defence isn't great, but still. Which striker to get? Cannot get Jackson and Hoyland and Pedro are both trash. Maybe Calvert-Lewin. I would just get João Pedro personally. Or just, if you're not going to get any of them, just get Watkins. Yeah, I know Gordon's away record and all that kind of stuff, but it is Burnley away. It's a good fixture. Start Garnacho or João Pedro. So Crystal Palace away, and I'd probably start João Pedro home to Villa, to be honest. Penalties as well. Just notice Isak's points away are similar to Gordon's. Yeah, but I'm always going to play Isak over Gordon. Would you not just bench Son? I don't know, I've still got faith in Son. Nailed penalty taker. Liverpool defence. Liverpool in crisis. It's a bit dramatic, I know. Brighton have scored 4 goals in 10 games. Wow, I did not know it was that bad. I still think I would play João Pedro. That is bad, though. Is that right? Let me see here. Damn, that's right, I think. Who are Brighton playing last few games? Villa, Newcastle. There we go. Newcastle clean sheet in 37. They're also playing Chelsea. Petrovic clean sheet. And Man United. Dalot clean sheet. Job done. You wildcarded in 35 and maybe forced into 2 transfers already due to injury. Yeah, wildcard 35 has been a little bit screwed over, but these things happen. I mean, some people have got Cher, Van Heck, and Ederson. So it could be even worse. You could have 3. Son hardly had a kick and then gets a lucky penalty. Penalties are great. Now, there is a question to be... there is a conversation to be had that maybe FPL should reduce the points for penalties. Would that make things more interesting? I think it probably would. I still think penalty takers would be a priority, to be honest with you. But maybe they should make penalty goals 2 points instead of 4 and 5, or even 6 if you're a defender. All competitions, it's 10. Wow, it's crazy. I'm having big fear of missing out on Arsenal attacking assets. Nervous watching them play. They look good. Yeah, they're great. I mean, I'm trying not to worry about it too much because ultimately I've got double defense, so I can only get in one. If I'm not going to take an Arsenal defender out, so I can only get one midfielder. So I'm only missing out on one, and so it doesn't feel that bad if that makes sense. Because if I get Saka, it could be that Havertz scores all the points anyway. If you've got Van Heck and you're looking for a replacement and it needs to be someone around the same price and you want a double game week, you're probably looking at Harry Maguire or someone like that. Defenders should get 5 for a clean sheet. But if they do that, they've got to put the price of all the defenders up, right? No, that's bad. There is a slight risk for going for players with penalties. There isn't a risk. There isn't a risk at all. Because most of the time, the penalty takers are just some of the best attackers anyway. What's the risk? They'd have to remove the minus for a penalty miss. Don't think so. I mean, penalties are scored about 80%. I think since the goalkeeper change, where they've got to keep a foot behind the line, and they're really strict on that, I think penalties are scored like 80% of the time. So, I don't know if they need to remove the penalty miss. They probably need to reduce the amount of bonus a goalkeeper gets for a penalty save, I would say. Yeah, but there's not that much risk for a penalty miss, like I just said, you know? I love the game as it is. They just need to raise prices a ton. Yeah. Like, next... Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for this conversation now because a lot of people just don't agree, but... Our defenders in general should go up a little bit for sure. Like, Saka should be 9.5, 10 million next year. Foden should be 9.5. Palmer should be 9.5. They should all go up. Like, Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White should be the same price Van Dijk was this year, 6.5 at least. I mean, probably no more than that. But that's what they should be. Like, Ortega and Kelleher being 4 million is a joke. Like, for Liverpool and City goalkeepers, doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to have a gap that big for your main goalkeeper. I think it's fine for them to be cheaper because ultimately, if you've got Kelleher coming in for Alisson, your Liverpool defence is then worse. Even though Kelleher is a good keeper, he's not as good as Alisson. But to have that big a difference is just a bit crazy. A penalty goal comes with more risk than a regular goal. Yes. Yeah, I get that. I get it. But even if... I still think the fact that, you know, if penalties... This isn't really a conversation we need to get into ahead of Game Week 36, but if penalty goal scored was 2 points, I still think you would mostly prioritise penalty takers, which shows how important they are, and it shows how little thought you give to the fact that they could get minus if they miss. That tells you already how kind of powerful penalty takers are. And I think the deduction should stay. Anyway, let's get off this now. Without Salah next year, we'll probably have loads of money. Yeah, but you'd hope that they would compensate for that by making everyone else a lot more expensive, right? Like, the forwards price in this year was a bit crazy, I think. This is usually a conversation for Game Week 38. Anyway, we're having it a little bit too early. How long have we been going for? 50 minutes. Okay, what else have we not talked about yet? I've probably gone round and round in circles on a lot of stuff. I went for Van de Ven over Romero purely to save funds for future weeks. Couldn't believe it. Van de Ven scores, gets ruled out, then Romero scores. Yeah, these things happen. But look, you've still got that money, and that might get you more points in the future. Probably not, because a goal's nice from a defender, but you never know. Hopefully it will. Would be cool if we had a goalkeeper who was also a penalty taker. I don't know. We're probably only a few injuries away from Ederson taking penalties. Although I don't think that would ever happen. It feels like there's just too much risk for Man City to do that. If it gets saved, then you've got a counter attack going on, and you haven't got your goalkeeper in goal. It would not make much sense. Haven't talked about Anana. What is there to say? What is there to say? Got a 71 points of Captain Isaac, and it paid off. Very nice. Very nice. I'm on 52, I think it is. Pretty bad. 52 with the Haaland off the bench. Not talked about the level of injuries. Is it worth rolling bench boost to next season? If only. If only. I think people are going to be taking hits now for the bench boost. It's a bit harsh to wildcard so close to a bench boost and get so screwed over. I mean, there could be more injuries next week as well. Anana will probably outscore Petrovic this game week. Could happen. What did Anana finish on? Obviously, he conceded, but he had a lot of saves. I think he was on for a big score before he... Such a stupid... I think... Oh, he's on 4 points. Okay, he probably won't outscore him then. Might do. I think it was the same passage of play where Casemiro just had that terrible header up in the air. And then, bam, Anana comes out and smacks the Burnley guy. Can you change the intro song? I could. I'm thinking about getting someone to create me some kind of music that I can just use all the time. I mean, I use Phoenix all the time, I know, but maybe something a little bit custom, something like that. Nicholas Jackson, am I missing something? He doesn't do anything except argue with teammate. I'd say you probably missed the Aston Villa game, yeah. Go back to Candyland. Yeah, but I kept getting some copyright strikes, so can't do that. In hindsight, would it have been best if we wildcard next week? Probably not. I'm still listening to Phoenix, by the way. I need to turn it off. 50 minutes has been playing in my ears. We don't know yet how long Van Heck's out for. So he may end up being fine. But I guess not knowing how long he's out for is probably not a great sign. All-out attack was a nice chip. It was okay. I mean, honestly, here's another Game Week 38 conversation that we're going to have in Game Week 36. If there's going to be less double game weeks next year and blanks because of the changes to the FA Cup, they should probably reduce the chips, not give more. Like, maybe we should go back to what it used to be, which was one wild card for the whole season, but you could use it whenever you wanted to. Because right now you've got 2. You've got to use 1 in the first half, 1 in the second. But maybe they should go to just 1. Maybe they should get rid of the free hit completely. I mean, they're never going to do these things, but maybe they should with less doubles and blanks. Have a look at Vardy's XGI in the last couple of games. It's absurdly high. Yeah, he's on it at the moment. Van Heck, Gusto, and Bradley going to be taking hits to make my bench boost happen. Yeah, I mean, Bradley, to be fair, was always going to be a thing, right? Trent was always going to come back. But Gusto and Van Heck's a bit annoying. Less doubles and more chips equals more variety. Maybe. Maybe. I'm not saying... Well, I am saying... I'm not saying get rid of the wild card completely. I'm just saying maybe we go back to 1, but you can use it at any point during the season. What do you think about Statman Dave keeps calling you out on the pod? But he's got to finally have a year that goes his way. It's been a long time coming, you know? He's got to keep his job on the fantasy pod. It's about time he had a good season. Although I don't think he's actually ahead of me, right? It's just the podcast. Let me see. Yeah, it's just the podcast that's ahead of me as a whole. So basically, Ali is probably doing all the work, and Dave's just getting lucky. Like, for their actual teams, I'm beating both of them. None of them are beating me. None of them. Like, Dave's less than 30 points behind, to be fair. He wildcarded this week. Oh, he's got De Bruyne. He's got De Bruyne. He had no Gordon, though. He had no Gordon. He's 1 point ahead of me. But I've got Nicholas Jackson to come. He wildcarded with gusto. Sorry, he's calling me out when he's wildcarded with gusto. Jesus. What about -8? -4, -8 for bench boost in 37, or just use it in 38? I mean, if you're going to have a really good bench in 38 and it's going to not cost you 8 points, that could be worth it, but surely you're going to have to deal with those injuries anyway. Only just found out we had 2 wildcards. Fair enough. Well, at least you know better for next year. Do I know member numbers for each country? Would be interesting. Top 3 countries that subscribe. I know that. Well, I know the top 3 countries that watch, like in general. I think it's like the UK. I can't remember what the rest of them are. I can tell you now. I don't think it really makes too much difference. Let me see here. I can also tell you which other channel most people watch as well. Maybe I'll keep that to myself. Yeah, it's UK, then it's the US, and then it's India, and then it's Ireland, and then it's Australia. That's the top 5. UK by quite a distance, as you'd imagine. Then the United States, then India, then Ireland, then Australia. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Malaysia is in the top 10. Norway and Sweden too. Can you see where in the... No, it doesn't. It just says... Oh, actually, yeah, I can see the separate countries. 89.3% of the UK is England. 4.5% Scotland. 2.7% Wales. Only 1.9% is from Northern Ireland. The Northern Ireland lads. Amazing. The back end of YouTube's quite good, to be honest. Where's Kenya? Is this how we're going to spend the rest of the stream? Hang on a second. We're working out where everyone's watching from. At this point, no one's watching or listening. They've all turned off because I'm talking about who's watching. I'm not gonna go through every country because this could take a while. Let me see. No, Kenya's 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Kenya's 12th. Kenya's ahead of Egypt. Singapore and Canada are after Malaysia. I'm not going for every country. Not going for every country. The bottom, the least amount is Pakistan. Ethiopia, Jamaica, Mauritius, Bosnia and Herzegovina are on there. Morocco, Kuwait, Greece, France. All right, we're done now. We're done now. How's the stream gotten to this day? I know there's nothing to talk about. No injuries, nothing like that. Nothing to worry about. I'm watching from Devon. Nice. Okay, here we go. Here's an FPL question. Quick. We're back to FPL. Start Petrovic or Onana? Petrovic. He's at home. I think that would just do it for me. I don't know if the thing is, there's lots of people saying, "What about me from this country?" But those countries aren't on the list for some reason. Oh, you can go from cities apparently. You can go to cities. Oh wow! Well, you can probably guess the city that most watches. That's London, and then it's Dublin, and then it's Sydney, then it's Nairobi 4th, and Cape Town is 5th. I don't think it does every. I think that's just big cities. You know, it's not every city. Liverpool's on there. Manchester. More people from Birmingham watch than Manchester. And more people from Manchester watch than Liverpool. Then Leeds is on there as well. Bristol massive. What else we got here? Warsaw. So when I go back to last year, Warsaw, Poland's on there. Cardiff is just above Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. and just below Adelaide in Australia. Some of these names, if I try and pronounce them, is going to go really bad. Okay, sorry. FPL. We can go in an hour now. You're going Pickford over Petrovic. Nice. Good luck. Have I ever done or considered doing a stream with special guests or a small audience? I've had people on the channel, not usually for these kind of streams, but I have had, yeah, people on. Ederson to be out for up to 6 weeks. Who said that? I'm not going through the Jackson and Gordon stuff anymore. I've talked about that so much. Best defenders to replace Ain't Yuri Van Heck on bench boost 37. Well, I mean, the best defenders in 37, if you don't want to go Arsenal, is probably Spurs defenders. So maybe Ben Davies if you want to risk that he keeps starting. Otherwise, Van de Ven, Romero. Harry Maguire if you need someone cheap. Newcastle defenders like Dan Burn. Early thoughts on transfers to 38. Probably Arsenal midfielders, but let's see what happens. Brennan Johnson, definitely not a good option. Especially if you're looking for a defender. I mean, he didn't even start today. You want Tom Cleverley on the show. Next Man United manager loves FPL. You never know. Maybe he'll come on. I think it's probably best to hold a transfer this week and see what the damage injuries are by 37. Yeah, that's a good thing, right? If you wildcarded in 35, hopefully you've got a good enough team to get through the next week. But as I said earlier, with Ederson, if he's definitely out, it probably makes sense just to get Ortega this week. What if the title's over by 38? Would that put you off Arsenal? Not necessarily, to be honest. I mean, Arsenal have had some pretty good results last day of the season at home before, even when the title's been over. Maybe there'll be a sense of freedom, you know. To be honest, they're smashing in goals anyway. So if we knew who was starting, I'd probably still go for it. You need Gusto to be fit. Will he ever be fit? Where was I at the 1999 Champions League final? I know exactly where I was. I was sat at home with my dad, who's not really into football. He's only watching it because I was watching it. We had 2 armchairs, so we had. I mean, the TV was probably tiny, right? 1999, a long time ago. Probably like a 14-inch TV or something like that. And it was in the corner, and and my dad's chair was like right in front of it. We had another armchair like a bit further away, so we pulled the armchair over, and that's where I was watching it, in the corner of the front room of the sitting room that my mum and dad still live, of the house my mum and dad still live in. And I went nuts when Solskjaer scored that goal. And my dad told me to keep it down. My dad's not a big sports fan whatsoever. We're complete opposites in that regard. FPL Physio reckons Ederson is out for 36 and possibly for the season. Is he just guessing, though? I mean, I also think there's a good chance he misses the season, but I don't know if we've had any info. Also, I think FPL Physio is 3rd in Sky. Close to 50 grand. These whippersnappers don't know what TVs used to be like. I mean, I used to work in Curry's, and if you wanted like a 32-inch TV, it used to take like 2 or 3 of us to bloody to carry it. You didn't buy them a house yet with your YouTube billions. I haven't, no. I don't think they'd want to move. I think they're pretty happy where they are. Rolling in 36 feels so wrong. We are waiting on 37 to bench boost, so we're not attacking 36. Yeah, but I mean, if you wanted to attack 36, you could have made different wildcard decisions, right? You used to rent a TV from Radio Rentals. Damn. TVs are so light now. And I think TVs are so cheap as well compared to what you used to pay. Like, I've got like we got like a 65-inch TV or something. It's like €700. And like €700 is not nothing, but compared to what you used to pay, crazy. Back in my day, we used to get our football scores from standing outside Dixon's or Teletext. I mean, I used to work in Dixon's. I'd always have the football on one channel if it was on. You were literally born in 1999. So young. So young. Arsenal don't need to improve their goal difference. Might revert to the old 1-0 to the Arsenal in Game Week 38. I mean, look, if the title's on, there could be pressure and stuff like that might get to them. But I still think they're going to be trying to score goals, right? This stream has had a very Game Week 38 feel about it. We talked about changes for next season, prices, who's watching from where. How am I doing in Sky? This week's killed it for me. I've lost the interest now because I'm probably not going to get top 100. Partially because of the amount of transfers, but I missed... Haaland not starting today killed me. And because I wanted to... like, if we'd known he was starting, I really wanted to captain him. Because some people had sold. I didn't have Isak yesterday, so killed me. Not as cheap as PCs. Used to be 2K for those bad boys, dirt cheap. I don't know if PCs have got that much cheaper. I guess overall they are, but not if you want a decent one. TVs are super cheap now. We actually once, right? We took a TV off the shelf when I worked at Curry's, and we dropped it, but it didn't show any signs of damage, and it still worked. Someone had bought it, and so we took it upstairs. We used to have to take it like up a lift and stuff, and on this really rickety old trolley. So we just dropped it, but we put it back. We plugged it back in, and it was fine. So we took it up to them, and literally, as we were taking the trolley out of the door of this like shopping centre, it fell off the trolley right in front of them when they were waiting for it. And again, it didn't break, but you can imagine they didn't want it at that point. They were hard to carry. Now you could like carry a 46-inch TV by yourself, 50-inch TV. Is it possible you could do a small review on your Sky Fantasy season? I don't know if I'm going to do that, to be honest. I don't think people would watch it on this channel, to be honest, because they're here for FPL. Best differential to catch up 30 points, De Bruyne. I mean, with double game weeks, yeah, probably someone like that. I mean, Garnacho's ownership's probably gone down a bit. I think it's quite difficult to find differentials from the double game week teams, to be honest with you. Next season talk, your sub target for game week 1, 450k. It probably won't be that high. Probably be like 425 or something like that. Okay, we're going around in circles now. We're not going around in circles actually. We're just not talking enough FPL. I think the final few weeks of FPL this season are just not very exciting. Most wildcard teams are the same. Non-wildcard teams just have more Arsenal. Yeah, it always happens with doubles and blanks. Always. Does FPL knowledge translate to Sky? I would say a lot, yeah. It's different planning. I just find like people that are super into their planning love Sky. I just find that if you make a plan and something goes wrong, you've got to get a different player, it can just result in a completely different plan altogether. And sometimes I just don't have the headspace to work it out. Like the good thing is the prices don't change. So you know your plan will still be good in the future as long as there's no injuries. You'll know you'll be able to afford it. But there's just so many knock-on effects and stuff like that, and captaincy every day. I don't know. I like it, but I'm not one of those people that plays Sky and then says it's better than FPL. I'm even without the YouTube channel, I would still prefer FPL. Just so much simpler. All right, we're done. I'm going. Thanks for joining me. Apologies for all the non-FPL stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed it anyway. If you did, make sure to give the stream a like, hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on podcast, rate 5 stars. And I'll probably be back tomorrow for a video and all this week as usual. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will catch you again soon.